Thank you to the organizers for this great opportunity, and it's always great to provide a company update to the audience, and including friends and close relatives. So great to be here. So at iSTAR, our mission is to become the leader in what we call MIGS, M-I-G-S, which stands for Micro-Invasive Glaucoma Surgery. Just a word on glaucoma. I'm sure not all of you are experts for this particular disease condition. Just a couple of things to keep in mind. First of all, it affects about 100 million people worldwide, so it's a real issue from a public health standpoint, and it costs billions to the society. But one number I would like you to keep in mind is that if untreated, 10% of the glaucoma patients will turn blind over time. That's why there is a high focus on trying to find better ways to control glaucoma. This disease is about the imbalance between the production of aqueous humor, which brings the nutrients to the eye tissues, and the outflow of this aqueous humor. In glaucoma patients, the drainage pathways are blocked. And what happens over time is that there is pressure building up in the eye, which turns out to damage the optic nerve, and that's the process for blindness to develop. So all therapeutic options have been so far focusing on trying to reduce the production of aqueous humor or enhancing its outflow. In terms of the patient journey, it always starts with eye drops. This is the least invasive modality, and those eye drops come in different active ingredients, sometimes mixed them together. And patients have to really self-administer those eye drops every day, sometimes several classes of eye drops per day, and it is relatively burdensome for patients. Not only don't they see the improvement coming from the eye drops, because glaucoma is an asymptomatic disease, but also they suffer from the side effect of eye drops. So in other words, they take their eye drops, they suffer from side effects, they don't see the condition improving, and that leads to something which is extremely important, which is the lack of compliance. In multiple studies, it has been shown that the non-compliance is roughly about 50% when patients have to take more than one eye drop a day. On the other side of the scope, traditional surgery, of course, it's been there for about 50 years, but it comes with drawbacks, fibrotic reactions, complexity in following patients up, bleb management, those sort of things. That's why MIGS have really emerged as something extremely attractive. You know, it is a very fast procedure. The surgeons actually can go into the eye through a small corneal incision, implant the MIGS, and get out within minutes. And the one thing that it does, which is important, it shifts the control of the disease from the hands of the patient with the eye drops to the hands of the surgeon. That's why MIGS have become increasingly popular over the years. Just quickly, financially, you may have heard about the market leader, Glaukos, extremely successful company, introduced their initial MIGS device back in 2014 in the US, and since then enjoyed a tremendous growth with a market cap in the range of 7 billion today, and also some striking examples of exits, such as Ivantis acquired by Alcon for about $500 million back in 2016. In terms of expected growth, this segment of MIGS is still relatively small today, around $500 million, but expected to grow at 20% CAGR over the next 5 years. So where do we fit? Our technology consists of an integrated system. It has a handle which is connected to a sheath in which this implant is located. The sheath is made in polyimide for the current device currently in the market, and I'll talk about the next generation later. And our implant is made of something very special. It is not a standard tube like any other technology already in the market. It is a fabric. It's made of porous silicone, which consists of thousands of microscopic holes that are interconnected with each other, and together provide multiple channels for drainage. There's also a green ring, which allows physicians to perfectly place the device in the right location when they are in the supraciliary space. But I'm going to spend a minute on probably the most important slide from a technology description standpoint. This is this material that we have, which is called STAR. It's made of those microscopic holes. And why is that important? Well, because after being inserted in the eye, it's recognized as a friend as opposed to a foreign body. Therefore, the surrounding tissues, like the sclera, the choroid, do send some healthy cells into that implant instead of creating a fibrotic reaction, which would develop at the outside of the implant. Why is that important? Well, because a fibrotic reaction would reduce the performance of the implant over time. And that's exactly what we prevent from happening with our STAR material. Here is an overview of our clinical trial program, several sections in there. First of all, the STAR 1 to 4 leading to STAR Global program, which are almost accomplished. We are now moving to the follow-up of year 4 and 5, depending on those studies. We also have STAR 6, which is a study which is in combination with cataract surgery. That's so-called an indication expansion study. The most important study that currently is in progress is STAR 5, our US pivotal study, which is currently enrolling. And last but not least, we also have a post-market registry running in Europe for those commercial cases. In a nutshell, very simple. Our technology enables to reduce pressure by about 40%. That's enough to almost stop, in most cases at least, stop the progression of the disease, and at the same time reduce the medication intake by 40 to 45%. This has been presented multiple times over the last 3 years. The last one actually covered a meta-analysis of our STAR 1 to 4 trials. It was presented at the European Glaucoma Society for roughly a bit less than 100 patients. This is the one that's actually new, first time that it gets presented. It is a meta-analysis of our 4 STAR trials versus 4 trials from the market leader. And we looked at comparative trials in terms of patient indications. We looked at trials performed in standalone, so not in combination with cataract surgery. So it is a consistent series of trials that have been compared. And what comes out of this analysis is that our MINIject technology enables to reduce pressure twice as much as the market leader. That's one important conclusion of the abstract. The second one, which is certainly as important as the first one, there is more homogeneity. So across our STAR trials, we do see the same pressure reduction. That's super important for clinicians to have predictability for their patients. That's really something key. And on top of that, there was a trend towards a better medication reduction. However, that was not statistically significant. So this slide is the reason why this company is still standalone. Everyone is now convinced about our efficacy. The real challenge is to demonstrate that over time, we don't have any safety problem with something which is called the density of cells on the inner surface of the cornea. Why? Simply because there was a technology back in 2018 called the CyPass that was recalled from market. It was a very difficult time for us, but eventually we went over it and found some good financing and kept going. Today, the data is maturing, and we need to demonstrate that we are as safe as the leading technologies in the market, such as Glaukos and Ivantis. Currently, the data in orange here at 5 years show that we are actually comparable to the best MIGS in the market, but it's only 34 patients. So this is currently maturing, and this is the suspense for the company moving forward. So where are we today? Well, we've released our technology commercially in Europe, in Switzerland, in the UK, in Australia. We are still very selective, only a direct sales force. We wanted to control the baby initially. So we've treated about 4,000 eyes and have great quotes from key opinion leaders. Key directions. Number one, we are going to expand commercially in 2025, including direct and indirect channels. Number two, we have this new technology for the introducer, making it in nitinol, lower profile instead of the initial introducer. And we continue with our US clinical trial. This is the team that I would like to thank for their efforts, all experts in their respective space, with a board extremely experienced, nicely balanced between US members and European members. You'll recognize a few names. Some of them have been in the press recently for significant exit. And last but not least, I would like to thank our investors who've supported the company all along. There are some in the room today. I really would like to thank them: EQT, Early Bird, HIMF, Capricorn. They believed in the technology and kept supporting us, which enabled us actually to seal an alliance with AbbVie back in 2022. In total, the company has raised 115 million and is on its way to demonstrating further successes. So thank you very much for your attention.